Hi children, how are you? From this week onwards, you have 3 online classes. Are all of you happy with it? See children, nowadays, in almost all dailies, one of the most important news is the murder of Uttara. You all know how she was brutally killed by her husband. How much have you gone down, children, in our moral values? See, women who were once treated as goddesses are now ill-treated by their husbands and others. But all are not so. Think about Jim, the hero of our story, Jim McPherson. From the letter itself he wrote to his wife, Connie, we come to know how much love and care he has towards her. Happiness and excitement he experienced at a time of war when he was in the battlefield. The Christmas he enjoyed with his enemies. How he made a friend with Hans Wolf, the German officer. All these things he shared with his wife. The cake she had sent him for Christmas, that also he shared with Hans Wolf. All these things were told to his wife. That shows his attachment towards his wife. And he had also promised that he would come back soon. The war would be over soon and he would be having a happy reunion with her. But at a time of saying this, he might not know that the war was not going to be an end. And this war, which started in 1914, has led to the First World War. After reading the letter, the author of a story, Michael, was deeply touched by the words of Jim. He was very curious. Now he was very curious to know. His mind was very disturbed. He could not sleep. The whole night he was having a sleepless night. And he made up his mind to find whether he wanted to know whether Jim McPherson is alive, whether his wife is alive or not. He set up his mind to find out them. So the next morning itself, he set out his journey for that. The only evidence he had with him is the address which he got from the letter. The letter from which that Jim wrote to his wife. Now I'll read the lesson for you. I folded the letter again and slipped it carefully back into its envelope. I kept awake all night. By morning, I knew what I had to do. I drove into Bridport, just a few miles away. I asked a boy walking his dog where Copper Beaches was. At last, I reached house number 12. House number 12 was the house where Jim and his wife Connie was living. Now, it turned out to be nothing but a burnt out shell. Now only the remnants, some of the remnants could be seen there. The house was totally burnt out. I knocked at the house next door. Now I understood there is no one here in the house. So I knocked at the house next door and asked if anyone knew the whereabouts of Mrs. McPherson. Oh yes, said the old man in his slippers. So one old man came out and told that he knew this lady very well. A lovely old lady, he told me, but a bit muddle-headed. She was a very lovely lady, but Now she is a little muddled, confused. She is not in her proper sense now. And he also told me that, oh, there is no need to wonder about that. Why? Now she is 101 years old. But at her age, she was entitled to be, wasn't she? She is supposed to be. She had been in the house when it caught fire. So when this house caught fire, she was in this house. No one really knew how the fire had started. No one knew how the house got fire. But it could well have been candles, because she was in the habit of using candles rather than electricity, because she thought that electricity was too expensive. So she used candles instead of electricity. And might be from candles the house must have caught fire, because she was all alone in her house. The fireman had got her out just in time. Now she was in a nursing home, he told me, Burlington House. And now she is in a nursing home at Burlington House on the darkest road on the other side of the town. So I found Burlington House nursing home easily enough. So it was a very famous one. There were paper chains up in the hallway. When I reached the nursing home, some celebration was going on there. What was it? There were paper chains up in the hallway and a lighted Christmas tree. So Christmas is having much relevance in this lesson, in this story. And a lighted Christmas tree stood in the corner with a lopsided angel on top. Now I introduced myself to the matron. I said I was a friend come to visit Mrs. Macpherson to bring her a Christmas present. So I told that I was a friend of Mrs. Macpherson who came to visit her, who came to meet her, and I have to give her a Christmas present. I could see through into the dining room where everyone was wearing a paper hat and singing. The matron had a hat on too and seemed happy enough to see me. And she was very happy to see me. And she even offered me a mince pie, a kind of sweet. She came along with me to meet Mrs. Jim Macpherson. Mrs. Macpherson, and now while walking along with me, she told me about Mrs. Macpherson. Mrs. Macpherson is not in with the others. Now she is not along with others. And today she is not in a good mood. She told me she is rather confused today. Why? Today is Christmas and years back only she received Jim's last letter on the same day. She is rather confused today, so we thought it best if she had a good rest. So we thought that there is no need of disturbing her today because she is not in a good mood and better she would take rest. And you know, she has no family. No one visits her. And she is not having family. She is all alone and no one visits her. You are the first one to visit here after she has been brought here. So I am sure she will be only pleased. So she will be very happy to see you. She took me into a conservatory, into a balcony with a wicker, chairs, and it was having a very good ambience. The old lady, and now I could see Mrs. Jim Macpherson. I was the woman whom I was eagerly waiting to see. The old lady was sitting in a wheelchair, her hands folded in her lap. Whose heroine is that? Yes, Jim's. She had silver white hair. Even though she was very old, she was having beautiful hair, silver colored hair, pinned into a wispy bun. She was gazing out at the garden. She was simply looking out at the garden. She was not enjoying the beauty of the garden, but she was just gazing out without having any intention. Happy Christmas, Connie. Yes, I address her. Happy Christmas, Connie. Hearing the word Connie, she was really shocked because no one has called her, no one has addressed her Connie after her husband. It was the first time that someone was calling her Connie. I went on. I found this. I think it's yours. See, I found this. What? The letter, the box. I think it's yours. As I was speaking, her eyes never left my face. So her eyes were still on my face. I opened a tin box and gave it to her. That was the moment her eyes lit up with recognition. And now only when I gave her the box only, she understood me. Her eyes lit up with recognition. And her face became suffused. Suddenly her face became very happy. Her face was glowing with happiness. The sudden glow of happiness. Then she saw that box. Now I explained about a desk, the roll top desk, from where I got it and how I got a letter from that. But I don't think she was listening to me. And when I told all these things to her, and I felt that she was not listening to me. For a while, she said nothing. She did not say anything, but stroked the letter. She was just striking the letter tenderly with her fingertips. Suddenly, she reached out and took my hand. Suddenly, she reached out and took my hand. Her eyes were filled with tears. Now her eyes were filled with tears because she understood that it was Jim's last letter. Now again the same letter is in her hands. Now see what she is telling him. You told me you would come home by Christmas, dearest. See, you told me you would come home by Christmas, dearest. You promised me that you would come home by Christmas, my dear. So what did you understand from this, children? You told me that you would. That means this old lady now has thought that the author of the lesson, Michael, is Jim, her hero. Because when he addressed her as Connie, she was really shocked. And here you are. And now here you are. I'm very happy to see you. Now she thinks that Michael is Jim, her husband. And now here you are, the best Christmas present in the world. Yes, this is the best Christmas present in the world for me. Come closer, Jim dear. Sit down. Yes, come closer. Now, she received this letter, the last letter of Jim, when she was 20 or 21 years old. And now she is 101 years old. Now the same letter she has got back again. Now again she has gone to those years. Her memory is going back to those years. Come closer, Jim. Dear, sit down. I sat down beside her. I don't say that, no, madam, it is not Jim. It is not your Jim. It's me. I'm Michael. I did not say it. Because I did not want to make her sad. And she kissed my cheek, thinking that I am Jim. I read your letter so often, Jim. After that, you never wrote to me. I don't know what happened to you. And I read your letter so often. Always I used to read your letter. I wanted to hear your voice in my head. Now I wanted to hear your voice in my head. It always made me feel you were with me. When I read the letter, I always felt that you are with me. Your presence could be felt. And now you are. So I was waiting for you all these years. And now you have come back. And this is the best Christmas present to me, my dear Jim. And now you are back. Can you read it to me? So can you read this letter to me? You yourself can read it. Would you do that for me? Jim, dear, I just want to hear your voice again. See, I just want to hear your voice again. I would love that so much. How many years I missed you. Now I want to hear your voice. Can you read the letter for me? And then perhaps we will have some tea. I'll make a nice Christmas cake. Marzipan, the old marzipan cake. I'll make it for you. See this 101 years old lady. And she forgot all about her years and all. And now she thinks that she is still in her 20s. I would make you a nice Christmas cake, marzipan all around. I know how much you love marzipan. Okay, now she is very happy that she has got her Jim back. And the Michael is such a nice person that he did not disclose his identity. If we can make a person happy, that is the best thing we can do for this world. So, have all of you enjoyed the lesson, children? The story. This is not a story. This is really the experience of the author, Michael, that he is sharing with us. Thank you all for listening to me. So, see you the next time. Till then, goodbye.